आप सभी को मेरा प्रणाम. My name is Arvind Kanojia and I warmly welcome you on my channel, The Develop Mind. As I had said in my previous video, how you can improve your English in dynamic way by just reading any kind of English books. I myself find the most easiest and an amazing way to improve your English as well as learn grammar by reading English books. So instead of reading grammar and all that nonsense rules in order to improve your English, you just start reading your high school English books. I have 11th standard UP board English book with me. Actually, I borrowed this book from my sister. However, you can have any kind of book. I would say it would be much better if you go for 9, 10 or 11, 12 standard English book. Because the most easiest English words are used in these kind of books, which are very understandable. And the best part is I will add Hindi plus English subtitle in this video to make it much more easy for you. So what would be my part here? I would read the chapter 1 from the book, and in between I would explain some sentences which I find a little complicated. And what would be your part? You just put the earplug in your ear and watch the video carefully. And most importantly, you just read the Hindi subtitle when I read English sentences. So let's improve our English together. So see here chapter 1, my struggle for an education. Since this chapter is little longer, so I will complete half of the portion in this video and the rest of the portion we will complete in the next video. So first of all, we will learn about the lesson. So let's see about the lesson. Booker T. Washington, he is the author of this chapter. Booker T. Washington, as a boy, worked in a coal mine in Malden. He overheard two miners talking about a great school for colored people. The school seemed to him to be the greatest place on earth and more attractive than even heaven. He faced a lot of difficulties and ultimately succeeded in getting admission in the institute. The lesson inspires us that we should not be deterred by any odd difficulties and hurdles that may come in our way of realizing ambition. Adversities of life are like a doctor pills which are bitter in taste but sweet in its effect. Here, author is talking about his previous life. One day, while at work in the coal mine, I happened to overhear two miners talking about a great school for colored people somewhere in Virginia. Colored people means kali chamdi wale log, kale log. This was the first time that I had ever heard anything about any kind of school or college that was more pretentious than the little colored school in our town. As they went on describing the school, it seemed to me that it must be the greatest place on earth. Not even heaven presented more attraction for me at that time than did the Hampton Normal and Agricultural Institute in Virginia, about which these men were talking. I resolved at once to go to that school, although I had no idea where it was, or how many miles away, or how I was going to reach it. I was on fire constantly with one ambition, and that was to go to Hampton. This thought was with me day and night. In the fall of 1872, I determined to make an effort to get there. My mother was troubled with a grave fear that I was starting out on a wild goose chase. At any rate, I got only half-hearted consent from her that I might start. I had very little money with which to buy clothes and pay my traveling expenses. My brother John helped me all that he could, but of course, that was not a great deal. Finally, the great day came and I started for Hampton. I had only a small cheap satchel that contained the few articles of clothing I could get. My mother at that time was rather weak and broken in health. I hardly expected to see her again, and thus our parting was all the more sad. She, however, was very brave through it all. The distance from Malden to Hampton is about 500 miles. By walking, begging rides both in wagons and in the cars, in some way. After a number of days, I reached the city of Richmond, Virginia, about 82 miles from Hampton. When I reached there, tired, hungry, and dirty, it was late in the night. I had never been in a large city, and this rather added to my misery. When I reached Richmond, I was completely out of money. I had not a single acquaintance in the place, and being unused to city ways, I did not know where to go. I asked at several places for lodging, but they all wanted money, and that was what I did not have. Knowing nothing else better to do, I walked the streets. I must have walked the streets till after midnight. At last, I became so exhausted that I could walk no longer. I was tired, I was hungry, I was everything but discouraged. Just about the time when I reached extreme physical exhaustion, I came upon a portion of a street where the broad sidewalk was considerably elevated. I waited for a few minutes till I was sure that no passerby could see me, and then crept under the sidewalk, lay for the night on the ground, with my satchel of clothing for a pillow. Near all night, I could hear the tramp of feet over my head. The next morning, I found myself somewhat refreshed, but I was extremely hungry. As soon as it became light enough for me to see my surroundings, I noticed that I was near a large ship. It seemed to be unloading a cargo of pig iron. I went at once to the vessel and asked the captain to permit me to help unload the vessel in order to get the money for food. The captain, a white man who seemed to be kind-hearted, consented. So this was the half of the portion of this chapter. So I request you, please read the Hindi subtitle carefully when I read English sentences. I will complete the rest of the chapter in the next video. Till then, Pranam.